I had to escort my mom to Ironforge from Wetlands because she played a night elf. So I remember this moment actually very, very clearly, trying to make sure that the crocodiles did not kill her on the way over. I did do this, like, man, that was in 2006. That shit was so long ago, too. Yeah, those were the good old days. I don't think J. Allen Brack is going to do anything bad with the game, though, honestly. I really just don't think so. I mean, like, yeah, maybe, but it's like, I think that he's going to be so focused on just trying to make everything work and being the president that he's not even going to have time to fuck up WoW. Like, that's honestly what I'm betting on, is that he will be so busy with other stuff that he won't have time to fuck WoW up.
Well, if the developers would just listen to you, man, the game would be perfect. Like, everything would be great, man. They just need to listen to you. You should apply.
Yeah, right,
apply
dude.
To be a developer.
You think I should be a developer for WoW? Like, I don't know about that, dude.
Look, dude, are you kidding me? You could go toe to toe with some of their senior developers.
I don't think so, dude. They completely I don't know anything about, like, I don't know anything about programming at all. Like, I just know, like,
you don't have, dude. You think these guys know anything about programming? No, they just hand it off to technicians and say, "Hey, we want this in the game." Of course they're not. They're just the dudes that they draw on the whiteboard and they go, "Oh, we should do this. This system's great." Listen, they're not doing anything but reading and sending emails, man. That's what a developer does. They don't
just send emails. That's it.
Yes, man. I'm telling you, dude.
I don't know, man. Look, I don't know if I'd ever actually want to work at Blizzard. Like, to be completely honest, I don't know if I would. I think with all of, like, my history, they would never hire me either. So it just wouldn't happen.
Well, yeah,
I
mean, they did hire Jeff. And they hired Alex.
Yeah, that was back before.
Really bad stuff.
Yeah, but that was back before we had the whole outrage culture like we have now. Or if you say one bad thing on the internet in 1995, you know, on like some kind of fucking IRC
Yes.
chat room, they're gonna hold that against you for the rest of your life.
Oh, you know who just messaged me?
Who was it?
The guy that it was Creve. The fortunate one.
Oh,
he made ATT.
Yeah,
you know what he said?
What?
He said, based on what I've seen from their APIs, ... lol. Not good, dude.
Well, I mean, like, you think about, like, Ghostcrawler, like, that dude knew about fish. He was a marine biologist. That guy knows all about, like, jellyfish and, like, a squid and octopus and shit. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with WoW, but at least we got a Kraken out of it, so that's okay.
That's true.
Also worked in Age of Empires. Yeah, exactly. All right,
Age of Empires was good.
Yeah, it was an amazing game. Classic WoW Wetlands run.
Guys, raise your hands if you've ever done the Wetlands run. Raise your hands if you know what the Wetlands run is.
This almost feels dirty.
And raise your hands if you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Wait, what?
If you don't know what I'm talking about, I am talking about the great journey that Night Elf players had to make back in Classic WoW, known simply as the Wetlands run.
Yeah, I had to escort my mom to Ironforge.
People look back at the Wetlands run and they go, yeah, man, remember the Wetlands run? Having to do that thing? Ugh, it was terrible, but it was pretty cool at the same time.
Yeah.
So what is the run, you might be wondering? Where do you go? Well, here's the thing. If you were a Night Elf player back in Classic WoW and you wanted to get to Stormwind, you had to undertake a very long and very dangerous journey in order to get to Stormwind.
Yes.
Unless you got a mage to teleport you there, most likely you would have to take what was called the Wetlands run. What this means is you had to take a boat from Aberdyne all the way to Menethil Harbor. Then from Menethil Harbor, you had to run from there.
And there were crocodiles all around the path.
Into the mountains of Cosmodan. You'd pass through Loch Modan, you'd enter into Dunmorrow, you would cross that snowy landscape, enter into the halls of the dwarves, take the deep run tram to Stormwind, and you would finally arrive at your destination. Yeah, it was quite an adventure, to say the least. And it's remembered to this day, the Wetlands run. But the question is, why is it remembered? Is it just because it was a tedious, long, annoying run that we had to do back in the day?
It was a rite of passage.
If you decided to roll a Night Elf? Or was there something more to it? And that's what I want to talk about today. Why do people remember the wetlands run? And why do so many people look back at this thing with fondness?
Yep.
So let's talk about that. The first reason why people remember the wetlands run, even to this day, is because it was a long-ass run, first and foremost. It took quite a while.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
I've never
that.
timed a wetlands run before. I mean, I've never really had the opportunity to, but it probably could easily take 30 minutes or longer if you die a lot. And for better
Sounds
or for
good.
worse, you'll probably remember it. But there are other reasons why people remember the wetlands run, and whenever you talk to people who look back at it with fondness, these next couple of reasons are usually why they look back on it with fondness. The first
That's the
reason
important
being
part.
this: the exploration. I want
Yes.
you to imagine something for a second. You're a new player, okay? You just installed WoW for the first time, you're a big fan of Lord of the Rings and Legolas and whatnot, and you decide to make a Night Elf character. Okay, you don't know the world, you know nothing about Azeroth, you know nothing.
Those were the
And you
days,
have
man.
to do this run. You get a quest and it tells you to go to Stormwind. You don't know how to get to Stormwind. You've heard about Stormwind, the human city far away on another continent, but how do you
Yep.
get there? Well, you ask around a little bit, and eventually somebody tells you, well, you got to take a boat to Menethil Harbor and go here, there, and everywhere. And you go on this really big adventure. Imagine you're a new player. You get to walk through so many different zones and across so much of Azeroth at just such an early level. And it's pretty
actually
cool.
really
You know,
true.
you got to see so much stuff.
Yeah, you
on
get
the
to
way.
see a
It
lot about the
really-
game right at the beginning.
It fulfills that exploration desire that we all have whenever we step into a new MMO. So that's one reason why people look back at the wetlands run with fondness, because it allowed
true.
them to see so much of the world at such an early level. The next reason was the sense of achievement. Now, I'm not just talking about the fact, you know, you reach
Achieving something
Stormwind
from
after
going
walking for
point A
half
to
an
point
hour
B.
or whatever.
Think about how
I'm
big that
talking
was.
about what you have to endure just to get there.
Yeah.
Again, imagine you're a new player. You step into the wetlands. All the mobs are 10 levels higher than you, most
They have the
likely.
skulls
They're
on
all
their fucking
skulls.
head, yeah.
You have to dodge
Yep.
crocolisks. You have to dodge spiders. When you start climbing the mountains, you have to dodge orc raiders. The point is, you gotta dodge a lot of really powerful mobs that could kill you with ease. And unless you found somebody to protect you along the road, chances are if you're a new player and you don't really understand how the game works, you probably are gonna die a couple of times on the way. The
Yep.
fact that you can die, the fact that if you don't properly move around the mobs that are placed close to the road, it just makes the journey feel dangerous. And when you finally complete it and you're in Stormwind, that home city, comfy, safe, it just feels very good. It feels like an achievement. Like you
That's true.
wandered through some dark forest and you made your way to the other side. But there's another reason why people
actually really
look
true. I
back
like
at
that.
the wetlands run with fondness. And it's something that not all of you can relate to. I can,
Okay.
but maybe not all of you. And it's the fact that the wetlands run was kind of a rite of passage if you were a night elf. It's the one thing that most night elf players have in common. Unless you knew when you made your night elf character that, hey, I can get a mage to teleport me to Stormwind, if a night elf was your first character and you didn't know that, you did the wetlands run. It's just that thing that united all of us. I mean, if you were a max level night elf player and you were maybe back in Teldrassil for whatever reason, and you were talking to a new player that was only level 5, you could be like, oh, little Billy, you're gonna have to do the wetlands run here pretty soon.
Yep.
And he'd be like, Mr. Nixxiom, what's the wetlands run? Oh, you're gonna fucking find out, you little son of a bitch. You better get ready. It was just this thing, you know. It just kind of it's the thing that we
It
all
was a
had
good
in common,
time.
man. We all hated the wetlands run. It was great. And that's really my fourth point. It just kind of created a sense of community in the game. It created a similar experience that we all had that we could talk about and laugh about, and we could talk about our adventures along the road. I remember one friend of mine back in the day told me this
Oh, wow.
story about how the first time he did a wetland run, apparently an entire horde raid group was passing through the wetlands to raid Menethil Harbor. So he told me this story, how he was walking along the road, had no idea
Oh,
what to
boy.
expect. He was making sure he wasn't going to aggro any
Oh,
raptors or
boy.
crocolisks. And all of a sudden, 40 frickin' Horde players just appear on the horizon and start running towards him, and it scared the shit out of him. He had never even seen a Horde player before.
I'm not
let
surprised.
alone an entire army of players. And of course they killed him, and they laughed at him, and Forsaken players ate his dead body. But it was pretty cool, and he'll never forget the experience. Like that dreaded wetlands run. Like as if the NPCs that are 10 levels higher than you aren't scary enough, let alone a giant frickin' army. This is great. But that's pretty much it, guys. If you're a new player to the game and you didn't know what the wetlands run was, most likely you've probably heard somebody mention it before, maybe. You've heard somebody talking about WoW back in the day, and maybe they casually slipped in wetlands run into the conversation.
I never even knew that there was a term for it. We just did it back then.
Why people look back on it, and
yeah,
they look at it as this sort of
it's like a whole thing,
convenient but cool experience that Night Elf players had.
Yeah, I had no idea.
When WoW comes out, if you're sitting there and you're thinking, man, I'm gonna play that Night Elf Druid in Classic, better be prepared for that wetlands run. Is it going to take a while? Yes. Is it going to be tedious? Yes. Is it going to be dangerous? Yes. Are you going to see a lot of cool shit on the way? Yes. Could you potentially meet some people along the road and group up and do the wetlands run together, or maybe some guy will guard you on the way? Yes. But in the end, you're going to reach Stormwind. You're going to step into that human city, and you're going to say, wow, I made it. I transversed the world. And now I've arrived at my destination. And the feeling that you get in that moment, as you look back at your experiences, having done the
shit that I was talking
run,
about,
whether they be good or bad, that is the reason why even to this day, the wetlands run has never and never will be forgotten by those that did it.
That was a really good video. Like, I legitimately think that was just from a production standpoint and everything, I thought that was great. We're gonna give him a like. You know what? We're all gonna give him a like. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna copy paste this over here. Yeah, there you go. Go like that video. That is a great fucking video. Did you ever do that, McConnell, back in the day?
Nope. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that's all about, dude.
Yeah, it's like a Night Elf thing to where, like, you know, if they didn't get there fast enough, they'd have to go, like, you know, on the other thing, and then it'd be like, you know what I'm saying?
That's nice.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, like, it was one of those things that actually, like, it was one of the things that made the game, like, it made it feel a lot bigger than it actually was, because, like, you were part of this, like, massive, you know, like, world, I guess. And it gave you that sense of perspective of where you were. Because, like, you know, you were just in a tree before then, fighting people in a tree, and then you realize, like, there's, you know, I'm just in a tree, and there's a whole world out here. And I think that's really what made it kind of so appealing for people. Albion Online is like a big wetlands run. Yeah, I never played that game ever. First character was a Night Elf, but I didn't know about that. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that tried different ways. But my mom took the run, and I actually had to guard her and escort her over while she got killed by crocodiles. And then she asked me to, like, help her friend do that to, like, another area too. And that was, like, all back in, like, vanilla WoW. And I think the second one was in Burning Crusade. Yeah, I escorted my mom whenever she started playing WoW. Guild Wars wanted some gauntlets like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of places that did. Like, for me personally, I just feel like, in general, like, those are the things that made Classic WoW, like, really, really special. Why not just make level 60 Trial Mage and Porter? Oh, you forgot about that. Oh, just a second. Sorry. Let's see. Do you remember the Barons? 14-year-old Asmongold escorted his mommy. Well, no, it was actually, I was like 16 or 17 at that point. A friend explained the wetlands run to me in geography class in 2007. Those were the fucking days, man.
It's never going to be like that. Like, I don't know why everybody in the chat and everybody watching the stream, I don't know why you guys chase that feeling. Like, you know what you guys sound like sometimes? You guys sound like that really old dude. He's like 40s or 50s, like still trying to chase his high school football dream. Like, it's never going to happen. Like, you're never going to get to go back to those days. Like, there's too much information available now about games before they even come out. Like, you know how big the world is. You do comparisons on how big the world is compared to other games like Witcher 3 and other shit, dude. Like, it's never going to have that mystery, and that excitement's never going to come back, man. You're never going to get to play a game like that again, okay? So just drop it. It's never going to happen. You need to come to terms with that. It's pathetic.
It was a good time. It really was. And I know that it's never going to be the same, but at least it can be similar. At least it'll be better than BFA, right? I mean, BFA's exploration is definitely not very good either. I mean, can't you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so I'm not saying, like, yeah, obviously it's never going to be the exact same. I totally understand that. I get that. Yes, you can never go back to vanilla WoW. But at the same time, it's not just that simple either. McConnell the Nihilist, exactly.